Welcome back to In Good Spirits. This is the series where we interview people in the alcohol industry, whether it be distillers, bartenders, brewers, to understand their story, their knowledge, and whatever else they feel like they want to tell us. Today we're joined by Ryan from Buzzard's Roost. Thank you very much for joining me. How's your trip been so far?
Trip's great. I love this part of the country. Third time I've been here this year. It's a great market for our product, and I just love being here. I appreciate Max you inviting me to do this. It's always good to be able to spread the word about the brand and what we're doing and how we're innovating. So thrilled to be here with you.
Absolutely. Now, before we dive into some whiskey, why don't you tell me what's in our glasses today?
Yeah, sure. So this is our Char 1 bourbon. The Char 1 process is paramount to our brand. This whiskey is a high rye mash bill. It's kind of our classic bourbon profile. It's about 5.5 years old, 105 proof, double oaked. Everything we do is double oaked. We can get into that. The second barrels that we put this into are all heavily toasted and very likely charred. Don't char any higher than number 1, so that's the main char. So we can get into that process, what makes it special, and how we differentiate ourselves from other whiskers.
Very nice. So let's see. For those who might not be familiar, how would you describe Buzzard's Roost to somebody who may not be familiar with your brand?
Yeah, Buzzard's Roost started in 2019, so we're a very young brand, but our goal is to innovate with the barrel side of the process. So we work with our cooperage, the largest cooperage in the world. They make custom barrels for us, like I said, that are all heavily toasted, very lightly charred. We source our whiskey. We're very transparent about that. We're proud of that, actually. You and I talked about that last night, I think, about people's aversion to source whiskey, but that's what we do. But we take the whiskey out of its original barrel, put it in these very special custom barrels that we have made, and it absolutely transforms the Olympics for us.
Yeah, I think you're right that there is quite an aversion to these kind of sourced whiskeys. What I find really interesting about that is that there are a lot of some of the really big guys are doing the sourced whiskey, and maybe they don't make it the most transparent. Maybe they do.
Yep.
Depends on the company, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But off the top of my head, I could probably think of 2 or 3 of some of the biggest sellers in the state, at least, that are contract whiskeys.
Right.
And a lot of people are surprised when I tell them.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, if they looked into it and really took the time, they'd find out that a lot of what they drink is sourced product. And like I said, we're very proud to have partners that we have in the business and throughout this process. It's NGP whiskey that we source from, make some of the best whiskey in the world. And like I said, we just try to take that whiskey, put it into our process, and let the whiskey transform and turn into something that is bespoke for the months. I think it works. People get nothing but positive feedback from consumers about quality, the flavor, the taste profile, stuff. It's a good thing. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so we're proud of it. You can source whiskey and then try to talk around it. That doesn't really get you anywhere. So when we started the brand, that's the path we took. We had 2 options. We could build out a distillery, or we could take this path. We did. It's worked. So we're proud of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's an interesting name, Buzzard's Roost. I actually quite like it. With my page used to be the Tropical Raven. We have bird, corvid, scavenger kind of bird imagery in the brand.
Yep.
Now, what's the story behind Buzzard's Roost's origin?
I say we because it's with the company, but when our founders started the brand back in 2018, 2017, they identified a farm in between Louisville and Lexington where they were going to build a distillery. That farm is off of a pretty well-known road in Kentucky called Buzzard Road.
Okay.
And so at that point, when the business model changed, where we weren't going to build out that distillery, Jason, one of our co-founders, decided he wanted to keep the name Buzzard Roost. There's buzzards everywhere in Kentucky and all over the country. They're fascinating birds. Sounds kind of old, so it was just kind of stuck. And everybody loves that bird icon on the label. They're fascinating animals. I mean, they have very long vision for birds. And that's kind of Jason's mindset was this Char 1 process of building forward, out ahead of the industry. And like I said, everybody wherever I travel in the country, people identify with Buzzards. They have a Buzzard story. We've found there's Buzzard's Taverns. There's a guy I met who had a hot air balloon in New Mexico called Buzzard.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things when you start to pay attention to something, you notice it more often. And we're proud of that branding. People seem to love it, and it enjoy it.
Very nice. Now, this isn't an interview purely about Buzzard's Roost. This is also about you.
Okay.
So why don't we rewind a little bit? Why don't you tell me about how you got started in whiskey?
Yeah. So my background in the spirits industry goes way back 20 years. I started out in retail, and then I moved into the distribution channel 15 years ago. Quite a bit longer than that, about 18 years ago. Worked in Kentucky for 2 different distributors. Sold everything from bottled water up to 25-year-old scotches. So sold everything: wine, spirits, beer. And then 3 years ago, I had been working at a distributor that launched Buzzard's Roost back in 2019. So the owners came to me, asked if I would join the company and help them expand the market business. So no distilling background. Did some home brewing back in the day, so I learned a little bit about mashing and that process. But thrilled to be in the whiskey business. I've had opportunities in the past to go sell wine for wineries, and I knew that being native to Kentucky, I wanted to somehow work my way into selling whiskey. So very happy that I took that path to the license.
That's it. I like it, especially growing up in that kind of area. You know, I'm sure there's a big kind of drive for Kentucky bourbon.
Oh yeah.
You know, whiskey in general, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Was there a particular bottle or something that you tried from Buzzard's Roost where you went, that's it, I'm in?
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
what kind of really pulled you in?
So the thing that did it for me was our barrel strength rye and kind of the barrel strength bourbon. Both of those really drew me in. They are extremely complex, easy to drink, high proof. We talked about sherry earlier,
right?
Ryan. The barrel strength rye has sherry notes to me on my palate. They're very rich, explosive, flavor wise, and I just fell in love with them. This is going back 3 years. The bourbon boom was already kind of happening, and so I identified those two, and I thought these are integral. They're just amazing whiskey. So those two really did it for me. And then as I started to explore the portfolio, learn more about the process, what you're doing, and since then we've kept the portfolio. So there's a lot to drink and try. But those two, I would say, are ones that kind of made the brand stand.
Very good.
Yeah.
Is that right? The one that I tried last night?
No,
Showcase.
that's a single barrel rye
Okay.
that the state of New Hampshire chose for the
So that's the barrel by one.
That's the barrel by. Yep.
I managed the barrel by section also.
Okay.
Actually, so,
Yeah, they did that and the bourbon. I don't really know where the bourbon is, but I think it's out in the shoulders.
yeah. I think I have. I think I have 2 SKUs in my barrel by section under you guys. It's like second shelf down, all the way to the right. I got both of you guys right there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
When I was here last time, it seemed like certain stores had one or the other, but we didn't see them together a lot. So I guess it just depends on if the store is kind of rye-centric or
Right.
one or the other one. But no, that's a single barrel. The barrel strengths are everyday core products.
Okay.
So they are a blended whiskey. Very similar to that single barrel. So we mentioned 10 or 15 of those single barrels blended together. That's where the barrel strengths come from.
All right. Cool. So I probably have that just in my rye section.
No, not
Awesome.
here.
No, not here.
No, you got
I'll have to come down visit you guys. Then.
you have to come find it.
I have to come find it.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't brought those up here yet. It's maybe soon.
Absolutely.
They're good. You can find them. I grab them.
Now, you mentioned briefly the owners. I did a little bit of diving on the website. Was it husband and wife, right?
No.
Or was it?
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, they met. So it's Judith Hollis Jones. She is our CEO and co-founder. She has a food background. She did a lot of corporate supply chain work for some large restaurant corporations. And Jason Brawler is our other founder. He owns a iconic restaurant in Louisville, Bourbon's Bistro. So he was way out forefront of single barrel picks. The first person ever buying single barrel four barrels at a restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah. And so subsequently he's purchased, I think he's told me 135 single barrels just that is that sharp one. So
Okay.
he won Whiskey Bar of the World in 2023. So they were doing a barrel pick together. They met on a barrel pick and decided they wanted to start a brand. And they bought 3 barrels. Worked with our Roost to do this double opening process. The brand took off.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. That's what skimming information does to you kids. Make sure you read everything in full. All right, so brand ambassadors wear a lot of hats: storytellers, educators, road warrior.
Oh yeah.
What's a day in your role generally look like?
Well, I'm actually our national sales manager. So I'm in charge of our 31 markets nationwide, west to California, north to Michigan, New Hampshire, down to Florida, and over to Texas and everything in between. So
Traveling's your life.
traveling is my life. Yeah.
I like that.
In a small company like this, like you said, everybody wears a lot of hats. It's really, we're all involved in the day-to-day operation. Sales is one component of it, marketing. Spend a lot of time downtown in Louisville or in Pacer when I'm in town, meeting people, selling whiskey, doing barrel picks, doing experiences at the tasting room. So do a lot of things, but the main focus for me is to spread the word and those starting moments about the brand and sell it to consumers. That's it, So it's a big country when you start to fly around and discover that. But we take it one account at a time, one customer at a time, one interaction at a time, and over time that builds into the brand getting out there. And so travel's a big component of it, but when you get 30 sticks way around, you gotta go out and see people. So that's what I do. And every day's different, some of the travel's planned and scheduled. But when I'm in town, there's a lot of stuff that pops up. A couple of our home markets, so when I'm there, it's important to us to take care of everybody there, So I'm meeting with customers, like I said, greeting people at the distillery, whatever we can do to get the brand.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned about the consumers, taking care of your consumers and such. We talk a lot on this channel about generally the idea of the industry being a big kind of daily influence on people's lives. I come from a bartending background, mainly, and a lot of the people I've talked to.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about how kind of just improving somebody's day is such an important part of the process. And these products, say the ones that you guys provide, for example, are a big part of that. So it's my job, say as a bartender, to represent you when you're not there.
Sure.
Tell them about your guys' amazing products.
Yep.
Do you guys feel any kind of general aim past me and into, say, like the individual?
You make a really good point. And that's what I try to focus on when I travel is everybody I meet is kind of technical terms a touch point for the brand, right? And so I can inspire somebody, I can influence somebody to drink the whiskey. I'm going to do it, And if I can leave knowing that you are there, kind of doing the same thing, consumer, I've done my job,
Absolutely.
Certainly, there's a lot of product on those shelves, and we're always not the main focus, and I understand that, but. I think when we meet people, get them to try our whiskey, if they fall in love with it, and hopefully they're lifelong consumers, fans of the brand. So, the bourbon groups are a great way to get the word out as well. As a lot of people concentrated in one area that are pretty well versed in whiskey, and their knowledge is they think more appreciate better things than taste.
Right.
So we try to get interactions with those as much as we can. Certainly a show makes us a great opportunity to do that too. So, like I said, it's a large country with a lot of people. Drinking habits are changing, so we're always just trying to find the right focus on to build to a brand. It's not easy. I try kind of thing, So
It's a industry of sacrifice. I would say generally it's kind of ingrained in the service industry generally.
Yep.
No matter where you are in the service industry, if you're in the advertisement or the distribution or the actual direct bar to customer, it's all about the consumer. It's all about me going, let me forget about my troubles and let's make your day better.
yeah, absolutely.
We'll try to do what I think.
Yeah, and nothing better than great whiskey to do that. So.
Absolutely. This is a lovely time right now.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. No, it's an important thing for us is to have folks like you have that online when you're doing your job. It's alcohol is a celebratory thing. It's meant to bring people together, meant to kind of alleviate the pressure of the day, and so I find that that's the case with our whiskey. People want to sit down, take the time to drink, sit, and talk, and learn. It's really a good time, and that's really when we have people downtown in our distillery in Louisville, that's the optimal place to do that, because usually they're on vacation, traveling away from their daily grind, and they're wide open for ideas and listening and learning and drinking and tasting and talking. It's a lot of fun. It's the way it's meant to be with spirits. That's how it should be.
Yeah. As a side note here, editor can feel free to keep this in. Side note, I'm gonna have to figure out a time to come down there. I need to meet your guys' owners, and I'll try to find a time where you're down at home as well, so I can say hi to you on your own turf.
Oh, absolutely. No, you would love it there. It's
I would. I've loved the South every time I've gone.
It's ground zero for whiskey. I mean, we have now, I think, 14 distilleries on Main Street that you can walk. It's a 6 block area that you can walk and just bar hopping distillery.
Yes, incredible. Yeah, there's fantastic distilleries. I mean, I went at the showcase, straight to a few select brands that I'm not going to be able to go see these guys on a regular.
Yep.
That with a few of the reps, the big names, some small names. Yep. Not going to name them because the focus is on the short names today. It's a good time. Absolutely, super fun. And an interesting question here: when somebody takes their first sip of a Buzzard's Roost whiskey, what are you hoping that they experience?
Flavor. I like to say, when you drink a spirit, they all have ethanol in them, and the best way to combat that ethanol is with flavor. So if you take a sip of our whiskey, and you get an explosion of flavor on the front of your palate, at least my mind is kind of tricked into not experiencing that ethanol. Right?
Sure.
So the process that we do is very involved. It's very traditional, but there's a lot of science behind it. And what that does is it creates a whiskey that has a mouthfeel unlike any other. We have tons of vanilla and caramel in our whiskey, and when you taste that for the first time, a lot of people, when they taste whiskey, they're expecting that burn. They're like, I don't know if I like whiskey, they'll drink it. Ours kind of comments, so they get these flavors up front that just transforms their palate. Makes them fall in love with whiskey. It's just we're high proof, so we don't bottle anything under 100 proof. So everything that we make has a lot of strength to it. Yeah, a lot of flavor and strength. I mean, honestly, so if they taste flavor, they taste the smoothness. And if they smile, then we know we've got, And I saw that last night at the show. I had a lot of people taste it. Oh, I'm not a rye guy. This, I'm not a rye guy. That. We tasted that rye whiskey that you had, and they just put a smile on their face. I got a new rye customer.
That's it. I'm such a rye guy too.
Yeah.
So to sway me away from some of the brands that I go to, difficult thing to do. But I'm already looking to be like, all right, I'm going to pick up their rye next paycheck,
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And you should really make an effort to find that barrel strength rye, because change your mind about what rye can be.
My only thing is I'll have to check a bag and make another little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
think that's the only way to get it back.
I don't know if you can ship from Kentucky to your New Hampshire or not.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. We good on these?
Yeah.
Cool. Obviously, you're always checking them, but you're just making sure.
I was thinking about a way of getting it out here. But no, you can just check on bourbon in real quick.
Yeah, you can. If you check your bag, you can kind of like
That's
6 bottles, I think.
put a few bottles in there. Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's not that expensive either to really check that extra bag. Really, $35, whatever.
Yeah. You know, but you can also put it in your normal bag. I just wrap them in clothing usually when I ship things like that.
You're gonna pay that much in shipping for 6 bottles anyway. So check it out. If you can get your hands on a bottle of that, you can find it over in Mass. So that might be the closest thing to do is go check out a store over there.
Go off your Mass for the. I find because we're a control state a little bit, we have issues getting the variety that I desire as a craft cocktail bartender. I have some needs that are beyond that of the regular customer. So I'll go, I need this very specific whiskey and this very specific pour. And the state doesn't carry it because who's going to buy that?
Right.
It didn't do well on test market, so no one's going to buy that.
Especially if it's something you just need a quarter ounce of to make a cocktail. So
Exactly.
a volume driver. So yeah, check your Boston area. They should have that barrel strength right. Should be fun.
Yeah. Get up like a Total Wine. Maybe.
Independent might be your best bet over there. Yeah.
I can do that. How much of your guys' process is driven by experimentation versus perfecting the classics? What's more traditional and what's more innovative?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and I love explaining that because our process is very innovative. We can get down to the nuts and bolts of it, but the innovation kind of honors the tradition. So we don't use small barrels. We don't temperature control the brick house. We don't pressurize the barrels. We don't do any cheats. All the double oaking is done in 53-gallon barrels and white oak. It's really just how our coolers toast those barrels that makes the difference for us. Like they make 17 barrels for us, and they're basically a spice rack. They start out as sweet, spicy, smoky, and everything in between. So some of those barrels will be very cinnamon heavy. Some might be bacon. Others might be vanilla bombs. So they make those 17 barrels. We age in those, and then we put from there. It's a very traditional process with the innovative.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of the industry is kind of trying to blend that stuff together. I personally can say that in my service, I lean a lot on tradition.
Yep.
And I try as much as I can to kind of get that innovative twist.
Yep.
And people may see that on occasion. They may not, but I try my very best. It's a difficult thing to do. So, my congrats to you guys for trying to figure it out at least, or maybe figuring it out more than I think. I haven't been there.
Well, like I said, Jason, with the whole Buzzard thing, he sees the innovation of the future, and there's a lot of the large distilleries aren't going to change the way they do things because they've been doing it for 200 years and can't argue with their success and their quality and their reach. So we're small, we're dynamic. We can move pretty quickly and do different things, and that allows us to do some amazing results.
My next question, a little bit more like kind of bigger picture. What I'm going to get into here. Are you noticing any kind of specific shifts in American whiskey right now, both in production and drinkers' tastes, or I guess simply do you think bourbon and rye are entering a more like creative era?
I think they've been doing that for a while. A lot of the barrel finishes, Amberana, We have different wood species. I think, like to your point earlier, rum finish casts, sherry casts. We don't do that, and there's nothing wrong with it. We are trying to coax the innovation that we're working with. We're trying to coax all the flavor out of the wood naturally, as it is. It's do white American.
People love natural. Natural is best.
Yeah. I don't fault anybody else for doing other things, but just for us, we want to pull allspice out of the wood, just by toasting. And so we're able to do that. It's not to say we would never do barrel finish whiskey. Sure, right now we're not doing that. I think as far as drinking habits go, I don't know. I think a lot of people are still chasing those kind of rare, unique, especially older whiskeys, which are becoming more available, it seems. Man, that's kind of softened from whiskey. I think people are exploring Indian whiskeys. Scotch has had a bit of a resurgence as far as I can see. So a lot of emphasis on Scotch in the market.
I think whiskey's growing.
It is growing. Scotch in Kentucky, I can't say that for sure, but bourbon is still king in Kentucky, but it just always will be. It's ingrained in the history of the state. So
Hometown.
it is, yeah. But yeah, I would just say that I think people are kind of looking back towards more of that traditional profile.
Yeah.
Older whiskeys and the heritage brands are very strong. They continue to just release stuff that people are looking for. It's great for us too, because that means there's good whiskey ingredients out there for high quality.
Yeah. I find it really interesting when people, let's say, progress towards tradition. It's not a progression backward per se. And that's why I try to avoid that kind of language. It's more this idea that people are moving forward to recognize, we want things the old school way. We want things the natural way. We want to avoid this artificial, for lack of a better word, I guess, approach to a lot of the market, our food and beverage, our general ways of life. I like the idea of, as I previously discussed, I suppose, this more generalized, proactive approach to the tradition. I like that one.
Well, bourbon, the good thing about it is that there's restrictions on how bourbon can be made. So that's going to limit adulteration at first.
You got your 51% corn.
Yep.
You got your new toasted American oak barrels.
Yep.
You got a proof limit as well,
That's
right?
right.
Minimum and a limit.
Yep.
Right, somewhere in there. I like some of the higher proof points. I usually tell people all the time, I'm like, higher alcohol, like, don't be too scared of it. Like, the higher proof stuff has more flavor as well, I find.
Yeah. And that's why we're doing what we do. High proof, double oaking, making all that flavor in the bottle and keeping the dilution down as much as we can.
Yeah.
Take nice to get it. So
You're good. Yeah.
I let mine die down.
You're good.
I don't cut that out.
All right. Super easy to cut stuff out here. We doing good over here on cameras?
Yeah. I'm just wrapping them down.
By the way, did you grab a couple of pictures or anything at the start of this?
No, it's a recording and I can take pictures as we do it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Every time you see me put my thumb here, it's because I'm taking a
screenshot or whatever of the recording. Yeah.
It actually takes a picture with the wire.
Oh, interesting. That's cool.
It has 4 cameras.
You're good. I mean, my favorite thing about this process is that we can kind of derail, and I have a very smart, competent editor who can kind of be like, all right, they don't want that in the video.
Yeah.
Of course, I'll watch it anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's my favorite thing about this list too, is I can kind of sit here for a minute. I'll think about the question I'm going to ask. Yeah, exactly. What do you think is the biggest misconception about American whiskey?
That's a good question, actually.
It's a good question. You can think about it for a
minute,
because editors, we're magic of editors.
Well, I don't know. I think to what I was saying earlier, the restrictions on how it's being produced, those that know something about bourbon. It's our native spirit to the U.S., right? It's born and bred here. So if you understand that there are guardrails in the process, you kind of understand what you're getting with it. Now, rye whiskey and these other American whiskeys, there's kind of open season on what you can do to them, as far as adding flavors and stuff. But as far as bourbon goes, straight bourbon whiskey, I think you expect something that is delivered normally. I mean, it's especially like with our bottle and bond whiskey, that's historically a kind of a guarantee of quality. So I think that's what makes bourbon so cool, is that there's restrictions on how it can be made, and it is what it is. There's some gray lines with it, with cask finishing, and some people argue that point, but generally speaking, I think the way that it's made, kind of, you understand what you're getting into. So sure. Misconception about it, I think, is that maybe level's gonna burst and it's gonna go away. It's never gonna go away. It's our spirit. It may change.
Yeah.
The pace, the volume, that kind of stuff can change, but the American consumer's demand for it, I don't think will change. How much can they drink? How many brands can be on the market at the same time? And all that stuff will, by laws of nature, kind of settle out at some point.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that now. I think a softening of a bit in the demand for the variety. But the demand for quality is never, in my opinion, it's just not going to. So, we have the large brands to thank for that. A lot of the time, they have mastered it over 200 years, process, the quality, and now it's time for the craft guys like us to kind of help with the innovative side, and add a little kind of contribution to the industry. So, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I think kind of like two things come to mind when I say that, and I hope I can remember the first one because my mind races too fast. But I think the first thing, I never fault a lot of the lower shelf brands that maybe some of the more popular ones. I never fault, say, and I said, mention too much brands, but I never fault like the Jack Daniels, the Johnny Walkers, the things like that, right? Because they're maybe like middle shelf kind of thing. That's what people want, and a lot of people drink it. And setting a standard for something is never a bad idea.
No.
And in fact, I mean, what is a higher shelf product without the comparison to the standard?
Right.
And the standard product is, well, I guess by definition, the thing that the everyday person is going to be drinking.
Yep.
Right? So why would I ever fault that?
Right.
I think it's a very interesting kind of marketplace. Yeah. I'll hear some of the more, I hear some of the more, like, say, craft bartenders or something like that, which I hear some of the more, like, craft bartenders or something, that maybe look down on something like the Johnny Walker, or the Jim Beam, something like that. Why look down on that? It's, you meet a random, say, like, working class person. He's drinking that every day. Yep. He may be drinking that every day. Yep. That's what he enjoys. That's fine. It's fine if you prefer maybe to drink something different. But you gotta respect the classics to appreciate the people who are innovative. And I found that an interesting balance to have. It's a good thing to have.
Those large brands are innovators in their own right. I mean, you're talking 200 years ago. They established this product, this market in the U.S. Certainly, they weren't going to exist by themselves forever. People were going to learn how to do this and join in the fray. But I can go to 500 whiskey bars all over the country. My whiskey might be 17 of them, but there's Jack and Makers, all those big brands are all right. So I mean, it's complementary. I think I've also never walked into a whiskey bar that has 5 whiskey bars. Right.
Right.
You've got to address the consumer demand, give them a choice. I think that helps both the legacy brands and craft brands as well. So, you come to Kentucky, you go to Bardstown, you learn that those large brands are really just families. They have a long history in the state. They all get along fairly well. They help each other in times of need, and it's really a very tight knit community. And so we've got a lot to thank for those brands, but it's our time to kind of do what we're going to do and shine and stand out, and that's what we're trying to do. But we're up against 200 years of history. It's not easy. It's not uphill battle. Like I said, it's a large area to cover. But when you go out there with good whiskey, it makes it more easy. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think the other thing was you had mentioned something about, I don't want to say a decline or something, but you have said something about a concern to people that, potentially like the American whiskey market might be going away, or like the bourbon market might be going away. It's never going to go away.
No, it's not.
I agree. One example of this I think I may have noticed was somebody said at one point to me, in 2024, the American consumption of tequila by quite a margin actually exceeded that of bourbon.
Yeah.
And I said, well, tequila's a growing market too. It's a great market.
Right.
Sure, I mean, it'll grow, and they're quite close to us.
Yep.
Down there in Mexico, so pretty close to us.
Yeah.
I don't think that necessarily, to me, raises a concern that bourbon's going away. Not even close, It's the thing that's like, okay, well, people are going to have highs and lows on their trends. They're going to try different things. We're going to see how it goes. But, rye and bourbon, American rye at least, American rye and bourbon whiskey are uniquely our culture and our tradition. And think back to we still think about the ancient Greeks. We think about the philosophers. We think about people thousands of years ago. Tradition isn't going away.
No, it's not.
And it's not even leaving the mainstream either. I would say either. Bourbon is still incredibly popular.
Yeah.
We have the people coming into the liquor stores in New Hampshire, where we are, by the way.
Yeah.
Saying, before all else, before I even look in your store, you guys got any Buffalo Trace?
Right.
Right. The demand is still there.
Oh yeah, it is.
Just because things rise and shrink, and things fluctuate. Sure. Doesn't mean anything about that.
Right.
We love our tradition, and we love the innovators that try to take our tradition and highlight some of the things that make it our own.
Yeah. That's what we're doing. And I would to your point about tequila,
yeah,
they're connected. Our industry is connected. They ate a lot of their products in full bourbon barrels, right? So there's a connection there.
A lot of Irish too. A lot of Irish whiskeys take specifically American oak.
Absolutely. God.
It almost seems like a standard.
Yeah. But with tequila, with rum, what I was saying earlier about bourbon's restrictions, a lot of those spirits don't have those same kind of requirements. So you've got to watch out for quality and things like that. And I think that'll help tequila in the end. People are going to start demanding more purity, more, traditional processes, mezcals, kind of like that. So tequila's not the first category to spike either,
Right.
And none of them have killed bourbon yet. So being our native spirit, like I said earlier, I just think it's always going to be in high demand. It's just a matter of what type of whiskey is going to be in high demand. Is it the older age stuff, is it the craft, is it the legacy brand? What is going to be there? And I think when I said earlier there's a softening, it's if you put 6,000 cans of tomatoes in a grocery store, how many are you really going to get? It's not dissimilar from that. So I think that's what we're going through right now is what is the consumer looking for, and which brands are meeting that demand. So far we're finding that working for us. I don't eat filet mignon every night.
No, not every night. Right.
So I got to eat luxury every now and then, so
That's right.
it's all of our
really
lives.
good.
Yeah, I mean, all of our lives are blended with what's going to get me through the day, but then what do I want to splurge on and enjoy as a discerning drinker or a discerning eater? And that's just it's reflected in the spirits industry as well. So, uh, you know, that's my take on it. We all have different tastes. We all like to have luxury stuff from time to time. I think our price points, our brand, kind of meet that in the middle. We're not. There's way more expensive whiskey in the world than ours.
You'd say that again.
But
Yeah.
the quality of ours is up there with the very expensive stuff. So I think we kind of meet the consumer in the middle and
Absolutely. I've kind of an interesting one that might be a little bit of a thinker for you. If I asked you to build the Buzzard's cocktail off the top of your head,
oh man.
I don't know your background. I don't know if you're involved in that industry at all.
No.
I would say, do you have an idea of a drink that kind of represents the brand ingredients?
I think the easy answer to that would be an old fashioned. We can get more creative than that. We have a bartender, several bartenders downtown of our distillery that make.
Got a nice tasting room over there.
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. And if you think about the challenge for our bartenders is how do you make a cocktail list of 10 to 12 cocktails you make only whiskey, right? That's really the only thing that we.
Yeah, you guys don't produce any kind of ginger vodka or anything. Right.
Now we use other brands as modifiers and short cocktails, but we don't. Our whiskeys are our base spirits of all of our drinks, so they have to get extremely creative, especially when you talk about seasonality, changing over that menu.
Right.
How do you make that many different whiskey cocktails? And they do an amazing job. Some of the best drinks you're going to have. Just very creative. Apple cider cocktails. Then they pumpkin spice cocktail this fall. Some margaritas with whiskey. They do an amazing job. So not having a bartender cocktail background, it's hard for me to map that out. But
It's fine. I won't hold you to that.
no, but I would say this that whiskey is just as usable as any other spirit.
Yeah.
Base when you're making a cocktail. In fact, it's almost a little bit in my mind easier because of the flavor profiles. You get chocolate, caramel, vanilla, I mean all these different things in whiskey come out in cocktails. So if you know what you're doing behind the bar, our whiskey make amazing cocktails. So unfortunately for me, that's that very constraint.
I'm a little bit of a fish. I mean,
All right.
you can see I enjoy it.
You need to get a reload.
It's good stuff. Oh, jeez, I may. Jeez, let's see. I was got the Red Bull.
Well, I ran out of whiskey.
And I am going to work at
This might actually become the only whiskey I stock in my house now.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's still in the consumer's ear. It's a good whiskey.
Yeah.
Don't even cut that out, editor. Like include that part. Like maybe like a fun that might be a short. That might be a fun short.
That I drank it and I went, wow, this is like I didn't get the smoky one. I put it on rocks and still get most of the flavor.
Yeah,
Which is important because the summer heat kills me.
It might be like because I like a lot of like really smoky whiskeys and stuff as well. I'm not too thrown off at all with the level that we got going on here. I think this is maybe it's just me. I don't know. This seems really approachable, and I would sip this guy for anything. Very nice.
We'll probably have to get another pour of that dry before we're done here. So that's one.
Well, we're reaching there, so maybe it'd be a good time to take a quick break. A little pour reload. Yeah, sounds good. Cool.
So I kind of want to go with a little bit of a fun, like little rapid fire round of quick, simple questions.
Sure.
Right. All right. So neat or rocks? Your whiskey.
Neat.
All right. Favorite bar city? It's a
Favorite bar city?
tough one.
Interesting.
Tough one.
Outside of Louisville, Manchester.
Really? Wow.
No, I'm not. No, it's a cool town. I've a lot to explore.
You don't need to be biased.
No,
Yeah.
it's a cool town. Gosh, I've got a lot on that list, but I dig it here, man. It's a cool city. The river, the downtown's awesome. So yeah.
You guys have like a dream collaboration?
You know, we've talked about this. So we do a cigar series. Our cigar rye became kind of an iconic brand for us, kind of a cult whiskey.
Cigar rye?
Cigar rye, and that product has kind of been shelved, and now we just released. You guys can buy it online this morning. Actually, it's cigar bourbon. We released a single barrel on our website this morning. So that collaboration with a cigar brand would be awesome. I mean,
Absolutely.
we've tossed that around. Probably not the easiest thing to do, but for a small brand like us. But if we could do that with our cigar series, that would be incredible. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. I mean, it looks
No, it's
like
not.
I mean, where we are right now, which, by the way, we haven't given a shout out yet to where we're at. We're
Yes.
at Castro's Cigar Lounge
Yes,
in
Bedford. Yep.
New Hampshire.
Yep.
Fantastic place. This place is beautiful. We
Awesome.
might give you guys a little bit of a B-roll of a little look around the place,
For sure.
but
Great supporters of our brand and
incredible.
Cigar Masters. They've taught me a great deal about cigars, and so great partner.
It's my first time here too. Beautiful
No.
place. This is a failure of a lightning round, but it's a good,
No,
it's
that's
good,
all right.
good little questions.
No, it's
Weirdest pairing that worked. Have you ever seen a
weirdest
pairing that worked?
that worked. I'm a huge ginger snap guy.
Oh, dude,
Okay.
I love ginger snap cookies. Yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
getting into the season of it
I know.
at the time of recording.
I know. Our toasted barrel rye, which we make as a core product, is not here in New Hampshire, but this single barrel would fit the bill for that.
Yeah,
I think is a great pairing. There's some spice in both of them. Yeah, ginger snaps are my thing, and I would say that's the strangest one that works. I mean, sugar and candy, there's nothing better, but you know.
yeah. Now, I don't mean to ask you to betray the brand or anything. I gotta ask though, is there any particular bottle, not Buzzards, that you always keep at home?
There is. It's another Bird brand, legacy brand. I'll probably just withhold the name on
Withhold the
camera.
name. Okay, that's fair.
They don't make bad whiskey. I've never had a bad bottle of whiskey. Packed with flavor, iconic brand, great go-to.
That's fair.
Wild Turkey. I mean, it's when I travel, if a place doesn't have my whiskey,
that.
I will drink that. That's
Yeah.
long and short.
Editor can take this part out, but I'm actually quite interested.
No, that would be the answer to that, and it's a great place to visit. It's a cool spot, and
Are
that's
they
how it
over
goes.
in that area too?
No, they're Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
Lawrenceburg.
They're
okay.
up on a hill overlooking the river. Beautiful spot,
Heard.
old school. Looks kind of like a Scotch distillery.
Heard.
There are so many gorgeous distilleries in Kentucky that
I'll have to do
it's
like
hard
a
to pick a
whole
favorite.
Kentucky trip.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yep.
go for a week or two.
Yes.
2 weeks maybe.
It might take that long now.
Might take that
There's a
long,
bunch of
yeah.
them. Yep.
Go like one day to one distillery, one day to another distillery. Start traveling my way down from the top to bottom, something like that. So we're gonna go towards the look ahead and the closing. So we're gonna get kind of towards the end of the interview here.
Okay.
Really. I don't know if you're able to disclose, but my question might be, what's next for Buzzard's Roost? Do you have any kind of exciting things coming down the line?
Well, we do for next year. We've identified our limited time offerings. We'll do those quarterly. Probably don't want to get out ahead of those. No, we're going to keep innovating. We work with our cooperage all the time for new toast profiles. That's how we landed on our cigar bourbon. They developed a new toast profile for us that gives us that smoke characteristic, which is just amazing. Like I said earlier, we're not going to make any gigantic, moves or changes. We stay traditional. We'll keep the process evolving, but you never know. I mean, we're gonna the limited time offerings we have next year. It's gonna be a great lineup. I'll say that.
Yeah. All right.
Our French oak will probably come back next year, I would imagine, because it's such a huge success for us. So look for that, and surprises
Great.
to come.
Cool. Is there anything in particular that's keeping you inspired these days? It could be whiskey. It could be something else. It could be anything in your personal life, anything like that. What's keeping you inspired and in the game?
Spreading the word for the brand is what's definitely doing it for me. I love nothing more than that. Traveling the country, meeting people, this has given me an opportunity to see a lot of cool cities. You know, the cigar thing is kind of starting to inspire me a little bit.
They're starting to inspire me too.
Yeah, these lounges are popping up all over the country. You know, some laws have changed in Kentucky where they can now be viable. We had a smoking ban in the state for a while, so that's kind of softening. And so I'm kind of getting into this. Places like Castro's help with that, you know, because it's pretty unknown to me. So that's kind of something I'm working on. And the travel, you know, the travel doesn't end, but I enjoy it, and
Yeah.
it takes me some pretty cool places.
Sure, there's a ton of travel in your work. I mean, like that's
There
while
has-
it's an incredible thing. I mean, I'm sure it's also partially a difficult thing.
It is, but it's, you know, this, I think I've seen, just from this job in 2 years, I've seen, I was looking at that the other day, 20 to 30 states that I had not been to before. So, and within those states, the different cities, and so it's been great. It really has, but it's tough.
I'm sure I've only seen like about 10% of the country. So I mean, you know, it's stuff like that. It gets me all riled up. I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude, get me out here. You know.
Yeah, no, it's good to get out and see
I'd
things.
love to travel more.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to see, so I've been fortunate.
It's a wonderful thing. How can people follow your work or find Buzzard's Roost near them?
We're on Instagram. Those Facebook, Instagram. For those folks who live in states we can ship to, go to buzzardsroostwhiskey.com. Find all of our whiskey available to ship. Special releases. I encourage people to join our Ambassador program. We have our little twist on Ambassador program. Keeps you in the know for special releases, things coming down the pipeline, single barrels. That Ambassador group will pick a single barrel twice a year and release that. So those are awesome. They usually sell out like that. So find us there. Ask your local shop. You know, that's the one thing. When I travel the country, people say, I can't find your whiskey. My store doesn't have it. Well, ask your store to get it, you know, because they're in the business of doing business. So
Yeah.
if you can't find the whiskey, either get it online or, you know, develop a relationship with your whiskey buyer at your local store. Ask them to bring in the whiskey, and we'll take care of them. So
Yeah, even control states like ours, I mean, they already carry your product, but like, say, for example, some control states that may not even carry, I mean, I'm sure you can tell them like, hey, look, I'm a willing paying customer,
That's
and
right.
I'm gonna go to the state below me or the state above
Sure.
me or the state left, whatever.
yeah,
I'm gonna go to another state to buy this product.
yeah, absolutely. Or if your local
And
bar
I'm a
doesn't
paying
carry
consumer,
it, and you know it's in the state, ask your bartender, hey man, can you get Buzzard's Roost? And
Yeah.
that's helpful for us too, that we do the work to get
the
the
community
product
going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to get the product into a state. It's great to have advocates for us out there looking for it. That's paramount. So
Big thing for my brand. Nothing bigger than the community.
yeah,
You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, the United States is in some ways a community, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
like, well, I mean, in every way, it's the United States of America is a community, but you got sub communities in that. The towns that you live in, even the small towns. I live in a quite small town, by the way, for anybody who might question that. In these even small towns, I hope for the community to drive more than not.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'd love to see the communities step up.
Yep.
I think communities are an important part of
Yeah.
our industry, not only our industry, but our lives
Absolutely.
in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
know?
Yep. And what better way to bring everybody together than whiskey, a cigar?
Nice
you know,
whiskey,
that
a
kind of stuff, too.
cigar at Castro's in Bedford.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Absolutely, that's what that was. All right, let's see. Lastly, when you raise a glass, and why don't you raise a glass with me?
Absolutely.
What are you usually toasting for?
I'm toasting for health as I'm drinking alcohol. So,
Poison.
That's it.
Love it.
you know,
It's the good poison.
to your health.
For your health. Ryan, this has been In Good Spirits. Thank you for bringing your passion, your stories to the table. Here's to what's next in the world of whiskey, and to you guys and your health. I mean,
Cheers.
fantastic products. If you guys like this, I hope you guys follow the Black Feather Bar on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. And please check out your locals, especially if you're in the New Hampshire area. Check out Castro's Bar
Absolutely.
Lounge in Bedford, New Hampshire. Check out Buzzard's Roost Whiskey. They make fantastic products, and I hope you guys have a great day.
Yeah, thank you, Max, very much for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's
I'll
good
share a
spending time
third
with you.
time.
Yeah.
I'll share a third time. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you all.
Peace out.